Hello and welcome back. This is another Algebra 1 video, and in this video, we're going to be focusing on how to solve multi-step inequalities. Okay, here is the first inequality we're going to solve together. Now, these are multi-step, which means they could be 2-step, 3-step, 4-step, or something even more than that. So they're going to get complicated. If you haven't yet checked out my videos on solving 1-step and 2-step inequalities, I recommend you do that first before jumping into this one. Okay, so first thing we need to do is check the symbol by looking to see if the variable is being multiplied or divided by a negative number. If it is, we're going to have to flip the sign around. If it is not, we don't. So looking here, it doesn't look like our variable, which is n, is being multiplied or divided by a negative number. So we're going to keep that symbol the same, which means I'm going to draw a line and bring the symbol down here. That way I can go ahead and solve it, and I don't have to worry about what symbol to use all the way down. Because what happens a lot of times is, since we solve these the same way that we solve equations, we end up putting equals instead, and then getting the answer wrong because it's not, n is not equal to one thing. It's either greater than or less than a thing. Okay, so let's get rid of that divided by 2 under this expression. The opposite of dividing by 2 is to multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply this side by 2 and this side by 2. Now, if I multiply something by 2 and then divide it by 2, I'm right back to where I started. So essentially, these 2's over here cancel out. I'm left with n plus 9 on this side, and then 4 times 2, which is 8 on this side. So that's my first step. Now I need to get the 9 away from the 8 and move it to the other side of the line by doing the opposite to both sides. The opposite of adding 9 is to subtract 9. So I'm going to subtract 9 here and subtract 9 here. That means these 9's cancel out to 0, and the n comes down here. 8 minus 9 is negative 1. So I'm going to put that here. That means the solution to this inequality is that n is less than or greater than negative 1. Okay, here is our next one. We're going to solve 3 times j plus 19 is greater than 6 for j. Okay, so first thing we need to see is if j, or the variable, is being multiplied or divided by a negative number. In this case, it is not. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring down the line and bring down the symbol facing the same way that it was. Okay, so I need to use distribution property to multiply 3 times j and 3 times 19. That would give us 3j plus, and then we do 3 times 19. And I'm going to do it off to the side because I don't really know my 19 facts off the top of my head, but it comes out to 57. And then we have 6 over here. So all we've done so far is distributed. Now we're going to start moving things away from j. So let's move that 57 to the other side of the inequality by subtracting 57 from both sides, or doing the opposite. Okay, so this will cancel to 0. We'll still have 3j over here. And now we just need to do 6 minus 57, which is negative 51. So this is all we have so far. Now, the opposite of multiplying 3 times j would be to divide it by 3. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3, so that 3 gets away from the j. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 times j is just j, so that's why these cancel out. Now we're left with j here. Now I have to do negative 51 divided by 3 off to the side. And when I do, I end up with negative 17. So that means the answer to this is that j is greater than negative 17. Okay, here's our next one. It's a little more complicated. It looks like there's some more steps involved, but we just need to check and see if our variable is being multiplied or divided by a negative number. It looks like it is, because we've got a negative 16p and a negative 20p. However, I think before we make that decision, maybe we should put the p's together and the numbers together just to see if they end up being positive or negative. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to move this negative 20p over to this side of the inequality. The way I would do that is to do the opposite. The opposite of negative 20 is to add 20p to both sides. So I'm going to add it here and here. That will cancel those out. I'll still have 20 over here, but negative 16 plus 20 is 4. And since that's a positive 4p, I'll put a plus in between. So I'm still using the symbol here. And then I have minus 20 or negative 20 on this side. Okay, now I'm going to move that 20 on the left to the other side of the inequality. The opposite of positive 20 is negative 20. So I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides, taking these and canceling them out to 0, which leaves me with 4p greater than or equal to negative 20 plus negative 20, which is negative 40. Okay, now I can look and see if my symbol is being multiplied or divided by a negative number. And it looks like it is not. So I'm going to go ahead and copy down the symbol the exact same way that it is facing in the original problem. The only thing I have left to do is to get that 4 away from the p. So the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. So I'm going to divide this by 4 and this by 4, canceling those out, which gives me p here. And negative 40 divided by 4 is negative 10. So the answer here would be that p is greater than or equal to negative 10. Okay, here is our next one. Again, before I decide on the symbol, I think what I'll do is I'll combine my like terms and then maybe move things so that the variables are on the left and the numbers are on the right. So first I want to combine this negative 19 and negative 7 together. They're already on the same side of the inequality, so I don't have to do the opposite. I can just put them together. So negative 19 plus negative 7 will give me negative 26. So negative 26 plus 4c is greater than or equal to 16 plus 7c. So that was my first step. Now I'm going to start moving things to the other side of inequalities to get them, grouped together. I want my c's grouped together, so I'm going to move this 7c to the other side and combine it with the 4c. To move it across the symbol, I have to do the opposite to both sides. So I have to subtract 7c here and here, so that these will zero out. I'll still have 16 here. I still have the symbol facing the same way so far. 4 minus 7 is negative 3c, and then I have negative 26. Okay, let's move that negative 26 to the other side and combine it with the 16. So that means I would have to do the opposite, which is to add 26 to both sides. That cancels out right there. I still have negative 3c here, greater than or equal to so far. And then when I add 16 plus 26, I end up with 42. Okay, now I can go ahead and look, since my c's are all together, and see what symbol I'm going to need. If the variable is being multiplied or divided by a negative number, I have to flip the symbol around. And it looks like in this case that is the truth. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that symbol down here just so I don't forget. To get rid of the negative 3 in front of the c, I have to divide both sides by negative 3, so that cancels and leaves us with just c here. And then 42 divided by negative 3 ends up being negative 14. So the final answer to this one is that c is less than or equal to negative 14. Okay, here is our last one for today's video. And again, it's pretty complicated. There's a lot of steps here. So let's just start by distributing the negative 2 here and here, and the negative 5 here and here. So negative 2 times 15 would be negative 30. So we have negative 30f. The negative 2 times negative 20 is positive 40. So I'm going to write 40 here and put a plus in between. So even though there's a minus in front of the 20, we're treating it as if it's a negative when we do our multiplication. So then I'm going to go ahead and put the symbol the same way. Negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. And then negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And then I'll attach the f there. Now, the reason I'm leaving the minus sign is because it's negative. Since 10 is negative, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as a minus. Now I want to start moving things around so that my variables are together and my numbers are together. I'm going to start by moving this negative 10f over here and combining it with the negative 30f. So since it's going to cross the line or cross the symbol line, I have to do the opposite to both sides. So I have to add 10f here and add 10f here. Then these will cancel out to 0. Negative 30 plus 10 is negative 20f. Then we still have plus 40 over here. Same symbol, minus 40 or negative 40. Okay, now I want to put my 40s together. So let me go ahead and subtract 40 from both sides so I can move that one over here. So these are going to cancel to 0. We've got negative 20f here, less than here, and then negative 40 plus another negative 40 is negative 80. So this is what we have so far. Now I'm going to stop and check to see if my variable is being multiplied or divided by a negative number. In this case, it is. So that means I'm going to go ahead and flip that symbol around for my final answer. I'm going to do negative or divide by negative 20 here and negative 20 here. Those will cancel, leaving us with just f here. Negative 80 divided by negative 20 is 4. So the final answer here would be that f is greater than 4. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Hope to see you in another video soon.